a few remarks. And then after, we may want to get somebody from AUD and AFR. So Bernadette, if you're ready, maybe you can go next.
Sorry, I was muted. Looks like I just joined on time. Thank you so much. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we hear you well.
Perfect. Thank you, Samuel, for the invitation, and I'm really excited to be here. This is one of the programs, the Land Accelerator, that is really contributing to accelerating restoration action on the ground. So my colleague somewhere insisted that I don't work on a deck. So I will try to summarize a few points that I want to share with you today, and happy to send additional notes later as needed. But I'm sure that Amanda, somewhere, Diana, everyone who has joined this Land Accelerator program before can address any point that I will miss in these few remarks that I'm going to give. Really excited to be again here with our colleagues at AUD and EPAD. I'm not sure who else who is part of the Land Accelerator Consortium is present here. I will leave those notes to be covered by Samuel and Amanda as well. And I want to start my note by really stressing that, there's no debate around the status of land degradation in Africa. We hear various statistics. The most prominent one, or the most common one, is that about 65% of the land in sub-Saharan Africa is degraded, too damaged to produce food or to support other livelihoods for the local communities that depend on it. On the bright side, though, is that Africa is also home to the greatest opportunity for restoration. About 750 million hectares have been identified as suitable for land restoration in Africa. This leads us to the need, or the why of AFR100. As many of you know already, this is a continental initiative to bring 100 million hectares of degraded and deforested land under restoration by 2030. Now, for those that joined the last APM, for instance, you have been following the progress of this initiative thus far. Self-reported information indicates that about 6 million hectares was under restoration last year. I look forward to receiving the new number this year. And this really shows that we really need all hands on deck to accelerate restoration action on the ground if we want to achieve the initiative goals of restoring 100 million hectares by 2030. There's another recognition we should not forget. Restoration is mostly locally led in Africa. As much as we need all hands on deck, we still have to recognize that many of the local actors really contribute land and labor to this restoration project. If you want to track impact, you need to go on the ground, and there is a role that these local actors play. These local actors, some of them, particularly the group that is targeted in this Land Accelerator program, have demonstrated that there is also a business case to restoration. We've learned about many restoration businesses, community project or companies and enterprises that are innovating really in this space at the intersection between restoration and business. Many of them exist. I'm sure someone will share many of those cases in Africa. Another realization, though, is that many of those businesses, they need tailored training and they need mentorship in order to scale up their businesses. And the newer ones really need this tailored training in order to improve their business model and be able to attract funding. They also need to be part of this bigger community, connecting with peers, connecting with those that are successful in order to learn fast from successful approaches, be able to access funding and be able to implement restoration. And this is where I come to the role of AFR100 political focal point in this Land Accelerator program. There are so many roles that you can play, but I picked a few really, and also aligned with the rest of the program, but feel free to let us know if you identify other areas where you could be instrumental in this program that we have not identified yet. The first area will be to participate in exchanges such as this, so that you get to learn more about the program, learn about its content, and be able to contribute to some of the topics that should be included into this tailored capacity building program. Really making sure that you are contributing your insights from the various countries that you represent, so that it is reflected as we build the capacity of these restoration actors. Your other role, most important one here, is to socialize the calls for application once they are out. I believe they are already out for the Africa program. So we really need to make sure that we are attracting and targeting and reaching out to those innovators in this intersection between restoration and business. You know many of those in the countries that you represent. You are the eyes on the ground. So really you can support the Land Accelerator team in making sure that they are known and they are included and considered as selections are made on who end up participating in this program. And there's also, you can play a role in informing the team about potential barriers. I know that these days we are relying a lot on the technology to outsource these applicants, but if you foresee any potential barrier for these applicants to, share the information, send in the application, please share with the team that is coordinating this request for proposal, so that we can explore other outreach approaches. We really need to make sure that we are considering all the key actors on the ground. That's it for now. I know more will be discussed later during today's program. Thank you so much for giving me the time to talk about the Land Accelerator program and the role that you, Focal Point, could play in socializing these calls and informing what ends up in the program. Back to you, Samuel.
Thank you so much, Bernadette. Well put, and thanks so much for sharing that information. Actually, I was able to pick out very key and important points, and especially where you're telling us, let's have all hands on deck. And actually, what I was also able to get is that everybody has a responsibility, even as we support these restoration entrepreneurs. So thank you so much. In the meantime, very important that we get to know who is actually on the call. So I kindly request everyone who is here, feel free to use the chat to drop your name, and also let us know which country or program that you're actually representing. That way we'll be able to know who is actually here. So allow me, so as we can move to the next step. And at this point, I see Mamadou has joined. So Mamadou, at this point, I would wish to invite you to make a few remarks. And then after that, we'll be able to jump into explaining what the Land Accelerator is all about and what we have to offer for 2023. So Mamadou, come next. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samuel. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, everyone, because I see at least one that I recognize connecting from Japan. I will not tell the name, but he will recognize himself. Bonjour, Colonel. Bonjour, Capitaine. Kabajalo. I think he's connecting from Japan. So yes, we cannot overemphasize the importance of the Land Accelerator. It has this global reach, being in other continents, and but our focus is in Africa. And I must say that since its launch and even its conceptualization before 2018, we along with the other, let's say, pillar of the AFR100 initiative, the Land Accelerator is really one of our biggest selling points. That when we want to, when investors, I would start with donors, countries, technical financial partners ask us, what is your added value compared to other initiatives? We always ended up saying the Land Accelerator. Now we can mention also our monitoring platform that is taking shape, the monitoring of progress of implementation of AFR100. But I must say and must recognize that the Land Accelerator is one of our three top selling point for the AFR100 initiative, because it brings the what we need really to move from the policy work, the soft implementation, the research, which is very important upstream, but to make sure that part of the investments or the grants, the financing agreement we receive, we make it reach the ground, literally, even not in a metaphoric way, but literally. And by doing so, we have I think we try as the collective, the AUDA, NEPAD, the WRI, and all other AFR100 partners to make it in a very transparent and open way. Yes, whenever we mobilized $500,000, we could just cherry pick or co-op a few young people on our own, but we make a very open and transparent application and selection process. We might take it for granted, but this adds credibility to the Land Accelerator, and we will keep it like that. And AUD and NEPAD, we are really adamant to keep this transparency, to bring to tell to the whole youth of Africa, women and men, that you have this opportunity to apply, compete, show what difference you will make with your idea, your business case, and come to compete with your peers to get the grant, to get funded. And even if you don't get funded, with all the material that exists around the Land Accelerator, you can learn and try to implement the concepts and ideas around the Land Accelerator. As AUDA NEPAD, of course, being the continental body, we realize that despite all the publicity, the advertisement, and trying to disseminate the information, we have countries that are applying less than the others. And by that, I'm targeting countries that are not primarily English-speaking ones, the Lusophones, Portuguese-speaking, the Francophone, and the one Spanish-speaking country we have on the continent. So I think that as a team, again, I know that there is a lot of effort that is being done. As a team, we should also pay attention to that, to put even more publicity in the Francophone, Lusophone, and Hispanophone countries of Africa to get that diversity. The last point I want to allude to now is this effort that we started at least 2 years ago to really slowly, little by little, to try to domesticate or customize the Land Accelerator success or implementation at country level. So at AUDA NEPAD, we are really encouraging the focal points, and some of them being here, to really look internally. I'm sure they have their own networks, they have their own avenue channels. Last week we were talking with Nigeria, and to even identify or secure $50,000, let's say, and then do the same process. The model exists, the approach exists. We don't need to reinvent anything. And to make sure with the 50,000 to make a call for proposals, applications at the country level. And I think this can have a huge impact that 5 years down the road, we will have millions at country level to invest on the Land Accelerator. So let's go for the Land Accelerator national chapters or country level to really work towards that ideal or numbers, to have 1 million of young African men and women to benefit from AFR100, to be able to get into Land Accelerator by 2030 or beyond. I will stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mamadou. Happy to listen to you and indeed giving us the confidence that indeed the Land Accelerator is needed, and we can even take it to the country level and be able to employ even more entrepreneurs. So thank you so much. Also appreciated the partnership that we continue to enjoy together. And today we are here telling the focal points. Join us so as we can be able to move this forward. So thank you. At this point, please continue to register your presence on the chat and let us know who is actually here, which country you're representing or which organization. And I'm sure you'll be able to appreciate getting to know each other. Amanda, I believe right now we are okay to move to the next session.
Sure, we're certainly okay to move to the next session. We're going to be sharing some slides about the Land Accelerator. And just one more moment to remind anyone who prefers to listen in French that we do have interpretation available. You can find that the normal way, pardon me, excuse me, which once again is to look for the globe, which might be underneath more, and then to select English or French. I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention one more time before we get into, I would call this maybe the content of the program. And then following this discussion led by Samuel and myself, we will have open question and answers, but anyone who wants to register their question ahead of time is welcome to put it into the chat box as well.
Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, certainly. Let's jump to the content and the agenda of the day. And certainly I'll be sharing with you what is the Land Accelerator, where are we now and where we actually want to go. And then thereafter we'll be able to discuss how you can be able to support us even as we move forward. Yeah, what excites me today is what Bernadette was actually sharing, that we are indeed aware of the crisis that we are actually going through. And we are equally cognizant of where we want to be. And also we are cognizant of the fact that there are people on the ground who are actually doing an amazing work to really see that we actually restore degraded land. And what excites me listening to Bernadette is the fact that innovative enterprises do exist and they're actually doing an amazing work. And certainly we do have confidence that if we support them, we build their capacity, certainly we should be able to achieve all this. And at the end of the day, we are all happy. Yeah, so allow me to talk about capacity building at scale, which is one of the areas that we actually want to focus even as we are part of this AFR100. And the Land Accelerator really plays a critical role even as we deliver the missing pieces moving forward to the actual implementation, what Bernadette was talking about, hands on deck. And the Land Accelerator certainly will be very critical. The fact that we have been able to recognize that indeed there exists a critical actor on the ground who is actually implementing, and these are the restoration entrepreneurs. And should we support them, certainly we should be able to see ourselves achieving the targets that we have, of course, in partnership with other models that we are actually going to put in place. So somebody might ask then, who is the Land Accelerator and where have you been? So the Land Accelerator is a selective training program that is curated for restoration entrepreneurs who are actually degrading forest and farmland. And I pride to say that this is the first accelerator program in Africa that is focusing on restoration entrepreneurs. To date, we haven't come across one that is actually doing this. And certainly we want to continue with this program to work with different partners. So this program, as Mamadou did mention, we did start it in 2018. And over time, we have been able to engage quite a number of entrepreneurs. We have seen quite a lot of interest across countries, more than that 4 countries actually. And so far we have been able to see more than 3,000 applications coming through. And out of these 3,000, we have actually been able to work with close to 200 entrepreneurs. And again, we are building the capacities of these entrepreneurs to be investor ready. And so far, we have been able to invest some little grants to them to be able to test out some of the innovative ideas that they actually have. So within the Land Accelerator, we are looking at different things. One is actually building the capacity of these entrepreneurs to really understand what the problem is. And here we do take them through a training where they understand the restorative movement in Africa, the challenges that exist, and also the opportunities. And through that, they're actually able to plug in and offer solutions to that. Beside that, we're also looking at their business model holistically, coming in to provide support. Should we need aspect of engineering, then we are able to provide this through the different sessions that we have. But also we do work with both internal mentors and external mentors to be able to deliver impact to these businesses. But certainly investment is very key. And so we are working with these businesses to test out their business model and to see whether they're investable, whether they're investor readiness, but also we do connect them to impact investors who actually invest in them. So certainly quite a lot of work has gone into supporting these 200 entrepreneurs. And what we see is that the entrepreneurs that we have been supporting are in different business models. So for example, we are seeing entrepreneurs who are actually having tree nurseries, serving different clients, including governments, non-profit, and all that. We also see entrepreneurs who are actually engaged in timber forest, among other business models. So I'm sure all of us here are cognizant of different business model within the restoration space. And what we have seen is that these entrepreneurs are coming in to plug in and be able to offer solutions using those business model. One of the questions I normally get is, what is the average size of these businesses that you're working with? And here we are not cast on stone, or we don't have a straight line in terms of the businesses that we work with. What we are actually keen at is to be able to see innovative business models that are actually creating impact on the ground for people and also nature. So over time, what we have been able to see is that on average, the enterprises that we have been able to work with are working closely with 200 plus smallholder farmers, restoring on average 50 hectares. And in terms of the revenue, we are seeing most of these businesses being in the space of 50,000 USD to around 400,000 USD. But here I can actually say that we are seeing even other businesses that are doing lower in terms of revenue, maybe around 15,000 USD. But when you look at this business model, they actually have an opportunity to scale. So that's a good picture of who we are working with. These are just some of the pictures of some of our sessions that we have been able to have. And good to report on impact numbers that we actually see. In total, I did mention that we have been able to work to close to 200 enterprises in 34 countries. But many out of these 34 countries, we see these entrepreneurs being inclined to Anglophone countries. And I do agree with Mamadou that indeed we actually need to support or see more application coming through from the Francophone countries, and certainly you can be able to help us. We are seeing them creating jobs on the ground, impacting livelihoods, and also we see them actually having an impact on restored hectares and also the smallholder farmers that they're actually working with. And this is encouraging for us, and the reason why we should be able to support more entrepreneurs, either at the regional level or even at country level, should we need to actually get there. Yeah, so that's what we have been able to do so far, 2018 to 2022, and we want to continue this. And at the moment, we continue at the regional level, even as we focus on country level, and the invitation has been sent out to all of you. Invite us that we can be able to get to the national level. So allow me to invite Amanda now to share about the opportunity that we have for 2023. Amanda.
Okay, everybody. So thanks so much, Samuel, for sharing that overview. Obviously, what we can see is the entrepreneurs that are involved with the Land Accelerator are making financially sustainable, environmentally sustainable impacts for their business, but also for their community, for all the farmers that participate in their value chains, all the employees that come out there. Even we can see in that picture from the last slide that Aerobic Agroforestry from Nairobi, yes, exactly, is giving dignified jobs to so many people across that country. They believe that they are one of the largest nurseries in Nigeria. And as many people here might know, there's so many bottlenecks in land restoration in Africa. And these entrepreneurs are able to pick and choose and select and actually make a difference on each of those bottlenecks. So sometimes it can be just about the supply of seedlings, where you're going to get that, or some inputs. The cost of fertilizers and inputs have gone up, I heard, quadruple since the war in Ukraine. So our entrepreneurs that we're working with through finding them through focal points such as you, in partnership with the Out and Impact, are really making a difference. So yeah, we can go to the next slide. So I guess on this slide, we want to talk about, we are right now in our recruitment period, which is one of the most important periods that we have, because if we're able to recruit great entrepreneurs from a very diverse geographies from around Africa, then we're able to have a great cohort. Just to share a few numbers, what you're looking at right here are some of our 5 main criteria that we consider when we're looking at entrepreneurs. And numbers aren't everything, but numbers help us ensure diverse cohort. So our first year in 2018, now these are all going to be estimated numbers because I didn't write them down, but I think we had around 320 applications, or 245. I think 245 the first year. Then in 2019, it was around 320. And then we took a small sure what to do or what was going on, and we redesigned the Land Accelerator. And so we actually recruited all throughout 2020 and launched a newly designed Land Accelerator in 2021. And we've kind of kept that design and continued to update it for 2022 and now for 2023. And that new design was not just to train 15 entrepreneurs, but to broaden the opportunity to 100 entrepreneurs from across Africa, to bring them into this bigger family, to give them access to information. And so what we've seen with that design change is, we were selecting 15 entrepreneurs before from an application. Now we're still selecting 15 entrepreneurs to join us in person, but we're giving 100 entrepreneurs an opportunity to learn with us and to prove that they can, to give them more of a level playing field in representing their businesses when they want to come to the next level. So again, it does start with looking at these 5 components. If you wanted to go back, sorry, it keeps flipping, of profitability, scalability, replicability, environmental impact, and social impact. Why are these so important? I'll tell you, one of the first things we do when we screen, I know we have gotten 1,320 applications for 2021, and we got over 1,400 in 2022. So we have to screen very rigorously. One of the first things we look for is environmental impact. Does the company, as described in the application, restore land? And if it doesn't, we automatically mark it as a 0. They could be a great company, but there are a lot of other programs, and our focus is restoring land. So environmental impact is one of the first things that we look for. Social impact usually follows, to be quite honest. If there's an environmental impact, we do see a social impact. Now, these final 3, which are the first 3 listed here, profitability, scalability, replicability, are important because we want to see these companies be able to make a bigger impact. And they'll only be able to do that via business models if they're able to be profitable, if they're able to sell a service or a good or a product at the end of the day. So we do look for that. We actually do have many nonprofits join us if the nonprofit has a market-based solution that they're doing. And I want to take this time to actually highlight, Teiko's putting some notes into the chat box about promotion. So feel free to check the chat box while I'm talking. But really just wanted to bring up our criteria because many folks on the call might have questions around that. So we can go back to that in the question and answer period. Yes, next slide will be perfect. We're looking at our timeline for 2023. We wanted to share this with you. This is the first time that we've had a specific call targeted towards focal points. And so really excited about the idea and the collaboration to do that, because we wanted you guys to really know from the beginning what we're doing for this year. So right now our calls are open until March 31st. So we really hope that you guys will be able to help put this out to folks in your network, even if it's just 2 or 3 entrepreneurs that you think would be good. That's all that matters. If you have a listserv or any communities or any WhatsApp groups, you're welcome to share it with everyone. So whatever works for you, you can do that to support us, whether it's, 2 or 3 great companies, you want to encourage them to apply, that'll be great. Then next, we're going to be selecting 100 companies, including at least 50 who are women or youth. Youth is 35 or younger. And I'll tell you honestly, this happens on its own. We just double check to make sure that we're hitting these metrics. And the same thing is, we're also looking for geographic diversity as well. So what we do when we are selecting our entrepreneurs, when we're ranking them, when we're having discussions about them, is we just do it on its own blindly. We don't look at country, we don't look at gender, we don't look at age. And then we see where we land, we see where it ends up, and we make any specific shifts that we might need to. So one specific shift that I can share with you guys that happens almost every year is we have a lot of people coming from Kenya. The ecosystem is really strong. There are so many entrepreneurs. So we generally do have to cut a few companies from Kenya in order to make space for companies from other countries. And that's just, at the top 100 level, that's fine. It gives us more diversity. So I just wanted to share that that's the kind of shifting that we do in order to balance the best companies with geographic diversity as well as gender and youth diversity. Then we invite those 100 to join us for 12 weeks of training. This year, it's going to start April 25th and go until July 11th. And people join us weekly. This week, it's going to be on Tuesdays. If anyone here would like to join us, you can probably email us following the event and we can put you on the list, or we can ask Takeo for help as well, because we do put all of our trainings online, recordings afterwards. So people are invited to join us, specifically the top 100. But if anybody here would like to see what it's about, receive the calendar invitation and just kind of be able to jump on whenever you like, that's definitely possible. It's 6 p.m. Nairobi time every Tuesday. Then after these trainings, we invite all the top 100 to apply to join us in person. What we do is we look at the attendance, and we look at some deliverables that they've created. So we are teaching entrepreneurs how to create site visit videos. We're teaching them how to create updated slide decks, as well as to create websites. So we look for all these entrepreneurs to have all 3 of those things, because in and of itself, those are great tools for the entrepreneurs to have to promote themselves to other investors and other programs. But we're going to look at it and select the top 15 from the people who are providing the best stories, the best pitch decks with the training they've received so far, as well as if they've attended the 12 sessions. Then we will select the top 15, and we will do additional virtual training with them that prepares them for our in-person demo day. So this year, our in-person demo day is going to be the week of October 16th. And we do in-person training, we do networking with the country on the ground. We have a live demo day that we also put out virtually. And the purpose is to get entrepreneurs exposure to potential investors. And then we have ongoing support after the in-person demo day. So they join an online community, which is forever. They're invited to join all future virtual sessions with the Land Accelerator. And we have online communities where people continue the conversations via WhatsApp as well. So that's what the Land Accelerator looks like. We can go to the next slide. Oh, 2023 offers. Perfect. So we'll just go through this quickly. We kind of touched on some of it before, but this is where we're laying it out. We'll have 100 entrepreneurs admitted. At least 50% of them will be youth and women, and we're looking at a regional balance. So what we need to get that regional balance is folks from your country to really promote this in your country. This is the only way that we get it out, is through partnerships. We reach out, we outreach through a few other platforms, but it's mainly through international networks of entrepreneurs as well as national networks of entrepreneurs, which is how we get this out. So your support there is key. A few emails can really make a difference for the entrepreneurs. Equity and diversity considerations. This year, we're very happy through the partnership with Alda Nepad and through generous support from the Swedish Development Agency to be able to offer, we hope, we're still finalizing the budget, but let's say conservatively around $4,000, but we're aiming for $5,000 for all of the top 100 who complete the virtual program. So not only will your emails and promotion help the entrepreneurs get into our training program, but it will help get them seed funding. And we are providing certificates to everybody. Let's see, 2023 offers continued. Oh my gosh, phase 2, where they're going to be invited to the top 15 cohort, receiving investment readiness package, which includes tailored support to create and improve their pitch deck, mentorship, where they're going to receive multiple feedback points from experts from around the world, impact days, which is our training physically, demo day, more certificates, recognizing them as the top 15, as well as connections to TerraFund, and they'll become a Land Accelerator alumni for life. Thank you. Let's see the next thing. Oh, well, I know we have been working on our syllabus this year, so we just want to share some of that with you. At a high level, you can go to the next slide. We've already, I don't know if there's details or I just talk about it. At high level, 12 weeks of trainings. We've got a lot of our topics already figured out. Kind of over the years, we've kind of seen what the entrepreneurs like and what they use in their daily lives. And we're also offering a Thursday session. Every Thursday optional, we're having different business models, different businesses just present on what they do and why, what have been the challenges, what have been the successes. We've done this since last year. And even though it was optional, at least half, if not more, 50 to 80 entrepreneurs joined us every Thursday for an optional fireside chat with different entrepreneurs around different business models, such as bamboo, green charcoal production, honey production, because the entrepreneurs are interested in other ways to improve their ecosystem. And so even if they're starting a company that's a nursery, they want to learn about these different value chains, because honestly, this can help them earn more money. And it's interesting, our entrepreneurs are very passionate. So we found that to be amazing. So we can go to the next slide. National chapters. So we did speak about national chapters. One thing they do require is funding. So WRI, we have started to fundraise for some of them. We're in some conversations with a few funders for a few countries. We're going to see what comes out in the next couple of months. But anybody who has funding, I don't know if you guys have funding, if you want to start fundraising from your governments, can pull this together. So we can't say this is something that's going to happen yet, but once it happens, it's basically going to be a focus on a country. Let's learn what are the value chains in that country that can work. So we're going to study that. We're going to support researching that. We're going to look at identifying local on the ground partners in that country to help implement. This is going to be something to build 100 entrepreneurs in your country who want to do stuff around land restoration businesses. So we're going to work with idea stage entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs that already have businesses. So it's a little different when you work at the national level, because at the continental level, we're looking at companies who already have businesses. Whereas when we get into the national level, we can really start to generate entrepreneurs who want to work in this and to kind of funnel them to be more sustainable at the beginning of their business ideas. Next. Let's see. This is just other things that WRI is doing that you might want to be aware of. So it goes back to that first slide, Land Accelerator Academy. So this year we'll be codifying a lot of the Land Accelerator classes that we've had and making them available to everybody at a self-paced manner. That's just going to take a little bit of time on our end, but we have all the videos ready to go. We just want to organize it in the best way. TerraFund we launched this in 2021. We dispersed funds in 2022 to 20 companies, anywhere loans from $50,000 to $400,000 loans. They're currently getting repaid. In 2023, we're going to have a regional focus. And so that's going to be in 3 countries. And that is because our funders who are funding that wanted to really see if finance would make a difference in specific landscapes. So that is something we can talk about in the future, but basically it's going to be available to the Great Rift Valley in Kenya, as well as Rusizi Basin in Rwanda, Burundi, and Eastern DRC. as well as a slice of land in northern Ghana. So those are the three landscapes there. And Policy Accelerator, we are just now launching our first Policy Accelerator. Thank you to the team members that we have at the Global Restoration Initiative. They're bringing the successful program from Latin America all the way to Africa, and those are the countries that are participating in it. So go ahead to the next slide. I think we really do want to get into questions and answers. How focal points can help. So focal points can help, obviously, in a few ways, by identifying and suggesting the champions of restoration enterprises to apply and participate. They can help us engage restoration entrepreneurs in their specific countries. This will make sure that that their country is represented in the application phase. If no one applies from your country, then we can't accept anybody. So that's the first phase. In the future, we want to look into policy engagement with entrepreneurs. So I'm not really sure exactly what that means yet. I have a few ideas. When we come up with it and we launch it, we will let you know. But some of our ideas around policy engagement is we want to reach out to entrepreneurs in different countries and make an international focused publication about different policies around restoration businesses in different countries, how they work, how they're successful, and how they can be improved. And we want this to be international because we don't want any one country to feel like they're getting focused on or pointed at, but we want to show that there are diverse policies all around the world and that entrepreneurs are affected and do have opinions and can help point policymakers in the right direction. So that is a bigger project that's coming up, just a preview. Focal points, if you know different opportunities, you can contact us if you know opportunities. We can share our database of people who've applied to you, and you can share your database with us. But basically, we will be partners in sharing this kind of information to make sure that different people from different countries can take advantage of different opportunities as they arise. Linkages to partnership, market access, and investors as well goes along with that. So next, let's see. Now, how can we help? How can you help with the Land Accelerator right now? This is our call to action. We have a really great outreach packet that our team has put together. We'll share it in the chat box in a minute. Also, we have a call for people to be mentors. So if you're here, you have what it takes to be a mentor. No one person can know everything to help out a business owner. But what we do is we host one presentation of one company, and we have, let's say, 5 mentors join us. And each mentor can add their voice into how this company might consider improving their business model, might consider improving their environmental impact. So we would invite everybody on this call to volunteer to be mentors, and we'll share that link in the chat box as well as in the follow-up email as well. You can just sign up on our little form, and we will get back to you later in the year when that will be happening. Provide advisory to the Land Accelerator Secretariat. If anybody's interested in jumping on any calls to provide advisory, you can definitely do that. And promoting the Land Accelerator in your country. These are ways that you can help this program be more robust to serve entrepreneurs in your country, and also ways that you can provide your expertise in a really high impact way to entrepreneurs who are changing the lives of thousands of entrepreneurs. All right, now it's time for question and answers. And, while we'll do that, I did notice in the chat box, I put a link to the PowerPoint presentation already. If you scroll up a little bit, if anybody would like to download that PowerPoint presentation from today, you're more than welcome to do so. And we will put a few more links in the chat box as well. But until this point, I think we might want to open it up to questions. And if no one from our audience from the focal points is going first, we might have a few questions that Teiko, Bernadette, Samuel, Fabiana might have to get us started. Just what do you think would be a question that people might want to know the answer to, and we can kickstart it with one of those questions just internally. And besides that, people, it looks like you can raise your hand will be an efficient way to go to tell us you'd like to ask a question as well.
Yeah, thanks so much, Amanda. Quite a lot of details. Yeah, indeed, quite a lot of work actually happening with the Land Accelerator. And I was actually in Kigali the other day, and I was explaining to a colleague about what we do. And they were amazed by the work that we have been able to do within the shortest time possible. And I want to believe equally with the focal point, I would wish to get their reaction on the Land Accelerator as a program as well. But maybe we can get to the question, and I see Celestine hand is up. Yeah, so Celestine, if you can go next.
Oui, merci bien. Bonsoir à tout le monde. Merci pour cette belle présentation. Je crois avoir bien compris que Land Accelerator est pour les entreprises qui existent déjà et qui œuvrent dans le
Companies
domaine
that are already existing and are working in the restoration of land. And as a focal point from Ivory Coast, I was contacted very recently by a very young company, but they are working in land restoration, but they are just starting. Is that kind of company qualified for Land Accelerator? Thank you.
Amanda, do you want to go next? And
I wasn't sure the kind
yeah.
of company. Samuel, did you hear the kind of company it was very well? A lot of, basically any company that sells something, plants trees, or does something to improve the productivity in a sustainable way on farms is eligible. So I didn't think I caught exactly what the company does. I always encourage people to apply because it doesn't cost anything to apply. And then we're going to look at it. So if anybody's asking, do I qualify or not? I would encourage them to apply. Samuel, did you hear what the company was doing exactly?
If I got it right, is a young man in, should be in Cote d'Ivoire, who is just starting with restoration work. But you did answer very well. I hope, Celestine, we were able to answer you. And I'm also looking at Teko, so Teko, feel free to also jump in to some of these questions. Yeah, Celestine, I hope your question was answered.
Yes, Samuel, Monsieur Bellinga.
Merci bien, j'ai reçu la réponse et elle me convient parfaitement. Merci bien.
Thank you very much for the answer. Perfect. Thank you.
Bonjour tout le monde. J'ai bien pris le train en marche.
Good morning, everyone. If I understood you properly, the selection process of Land Accelerator, we don't understand it very well in Cameroon. We wish to have the documentation because we have a lot of youths, young entrepreneurs who wish to be part of the selection process. We need to know all, which you spoke about the criteria, but we need to have the documentation, all the young entrepreneurs in restoration projects for them to be part and parcel of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Solomon. Yeah.
Like they're asking for documentation, they understand the criteria, the selection criteria for Land Accelerator, but he wishes to have more documentation in order to talk extensively to the young entrepreneurs in Cameroon, that he doesn't master it very well for now.
Thank you. Teko, do you want to respond to it?
Well, I mean, I can. Well, we have this folder. Yeah, we have this folder about our outreach materials. So perhaps we can just pull in our selection criteria document into that. And so everybody can have access to it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amanda. Ali Osman.
And I think we can also, we will see, based on the frequently asked questions, we will create a frequently asked questions and then answer them in English and French to share with some of the folks. I will try that we have them ready by end of next week in both English and French. The frequently asked question about Land Accelerator.
Ali Osman, yeah, you can go next.
Hello, are you hearing me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Greeting from Sudan. Thank you for this great opportunity. I came through the document regarding this accelerator, and I contact some people surrounding me to understand more regarding this issue in Sudan. My question is this program for government institutions that dealing with land restoration, or for individuals who are working in the field of land restoration, for example, those who are working in Gum Arabic, for example, they have association or cooperatives. And in addition to that, some from the universities asked me about this question also. Is it possible for universities to participate in such issue in terms of research? Thank you.
Thank you. Amanda?
Sure. So the program is targeted for business owners. For government institutions, that's what Policy Accelerator will do. And in this slide, we talked about the different countries who are going to be targeted first for the Policy Accelerator. I'm going to have to scroll back to see what they were. That was some good information. But honestly, if a government person joins the Land Accelerator, they won't fit in. We are looking at entrepreneurs who need to figure out how to reach their market, how to create partnerships, how to sell things, how to increase their transparency so that people will pay them a premium price for their product. So when we bring together entrepreneurs, it's creating a community of like-minded people who are working on land restoration businesses. Universities, no. University students who have businesses, yes. So universities can be a really great channel to get this out to their students to participate in. Universities in the future, when we start to do more country-focused programming, again, pending financing, if and when we get financing, we are going to definitely reach out to focal points in the country where we get financing and involve them in that process. If we get funding, then universities can be a really great partner in building the ecosystem and pipeline for restoration businesses. But right now, universities will be a good channel to get out the word to their entrepreneurs. And it can be a good opportunity for entrepreneurs. We had one company from Sudan participate last year, coming up all the way to the final 15. Samuel, is it called AFR100? Is that the one that's from Sudan?
AFRICOP International.
Yeah,
it's actually dealing with gum raising, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they're definitely working in gum resin and many other value chains. So we enjoyed working with them last year. They made it to the top 15 from Sudan. And I believe we also worked with them with a loan also, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they were one of our 20 companies to receive a loan. So very nice to have Sudan represented in our programming, and we hope to see more of them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adi. Yeah, I'm just looking around and checking whether anybody else has a question or even a comment. Yeah, feel free to raise your hand or just go straight and answer.
I've put in the chat box the countries for the acceleration policy. So if you're here from that country, I believe that someone from WI and African Union, NEPAD will be reaching out at some point. It's a different program than my program, but just so you can keep it in your mind, DRC, Ethiopia, Kenya, Malawi, Niger, Ghana, and Rwanda. So if anybody is joining us from these countries today, we're going to have Policy Accelerator focusing on land restoration policies in your country. And it would be great to include your voices on how that will come together. I see Celestine with another hand up.
Oui, merci. Oui, merci bien. J'ai compris que Land Accelerator travaille.
Thank you very much. I understand that Land Accelerator works solely with entrepreneurs. So I'm wondering, who is called an entrepreneur? I want to say that in my country, there are some people are doing wonderful things, but they don't have a legal representation. Some are associations or personal companies or moral company, which is recognized according to instruments in the country. Is somebody who is not legally recognized by the government, is he considered an entrepreneur in this case? Thank you.
Yes, our program does not require someone to have been registered. What we're looking at is, have they done more than idea? Are they organizing farmers to produce something? Are they transforming a product to something that people want to buy? So we don't require government registration. We don't even really encourage it. People can do it if they want to, but we're not working on policy. To be honest, we're working on business linkages, on confidence, on storytelling, on impact monitoring. So we can maybe suggest that people who are considering to get registered speak with experts in their own country. But at the Land Accelerator, that's not a topic we focus on. So we are like, they don't have to be registered, but what we're looking at is the impact that their business has had so far and their vision for the future. Samuel, I don't know, you have anything else to add to that response?
You have actually captured it very well, and thanks so much to Celestine for asking these questions. Normally we get a lot of these questions even on the ground, so we really appreciate. I see we are almost on top of the hour, so we really want to appreciate everyone who has been able to join this conversation. I want to believe it was helpful, and we do have some action point for you to be able to support us. Spread the word to the communities that you actually represent. So maybe before we end, I would kindly request maybe Diana for the final word. Diana is our to-go person for this partnership. Diana, are you here? If not Diana, then Zodidi, the final remarks, and then we can call it a day.
Yes, I am here. Thank you so much for the exchanges. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you perfectly.
All right, thank you so much. I'll just introduce myself for those that don't know me. My name is Diana Mawoko, and I'm the Stakeholder and Engagement Associate with WRI, seconded to the African Union Development Agency at AFR100. As you know, that during phase 2 of the AFR100 initiative, there is a real prioritization of locally led enterprises. So very happy that we will continue to support the Land Accelerator and looking to see great innovative solutions that are being brought forward this year. I know that we have been in contact with all AFR100 Focal Points for information to be updated, but this will continue, and we'll be in touch with various developments regarding the AFR100 initiative, and the Land Accelerator is just one of many. So thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Samuel, Amanda, Teko, and all other partners that were involved in this. Have a good afternoon from my side. I don't know if I should hand over to Zodidi, but from my side, that is it. Thank you so much.
Yes, let's hear from Zodidi, if she's there.
Zodidi.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Really, I think everybody has said anything, so I really don't want to take up more time repeating what everybody has said. Only really to thank the focal points and everybody else who joined. You know, as you join, I know, as Diana said, we're expecting more applications, so we're always happy to get more work on our side, reviewing all those applications and more innovations. You know, it's very interesting when we go through the stats and the data of our entrepreneurs to see exactly how much the Land Accelerator is also contributing, you know, to the country's restoration commitment. So we really encourage you, as all the colleagues have said, to really spread this out and disseminate this information to your networks and to all the youth and women to really come and participate in this. So thank you very much, as well to the team who organized this call.
Wow, I think on that beautiful note, we could say a fond farewell, and it's not a farewell. We're going to keep engaging with the focal points throughout the various meetings that AFR 100 is hosting this year. So we thank you guys for being a part of that strong network.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Do have a great evening and a good day to everyone. Okay, bye for now.
Bye.
Au revoir à tous. Au revoir à tous.
Bye, bye, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Okay, thank you, bye.